Hey guys, and how's everyone doing? It's your buddy Invader here, laying down another video. So, roughly a week or two ago, a poster named Clobriel on Resetera, the new home of the now defunct NeoGAF, gave an interesting dump of information regarding what Microsoft is currently working on game content-wise. Now first off, why should we believe what this guy says? Well, he has a pretty good track record. A couple of years ago, he basically leaked Microsoft's entire E3 and nailed pretty much everything. So there's definitely a reason to listen to what this guy's saying. And I wanted to take like a little bit of time to just let this information settle before I made a video about it. There's been a lot of talk and some articles are now coming out about it and some information as to, how legitimate this is. And things have gotten a bit interesting over the past few days, to say the least. Now, this is what he said. I would love to visit Albion. Project name could be Wisdom. A UK studio should do it. I would love to play around with Miss Dark again. The Coalition should definitely help if it's a third-person game. I mean, not them alone, obviously. I would also love to play Crackdown 3 campaign in 4-player co-op. I would love playing Forza with the Rising Sun on Horizon. I would love to play Age of Empires 4 soon, but it's probably super early. I would love to have a really high player count, connections per session, for Xbox's biggest franchise. Oh, and I'm sure Phil likes mechs. I doubt I get anything for Conquer, Banjo, or Crimson Skies in the foreseeable future. Now, okay, let's get to the meat of this. Albion is the world in which Fable takes place. Obviously, since the closing of Lionhead, the franchise has been in a bit of a limbo. Everybody was wondering what the heck they were going to do with the franchise. Originally, I thought that maybe Rare could take over the reins of Fable, as they are a huge UK studio, they're in-house, and hey, it would make a lot of sense. But they probably have a lot of other things going on with Sea of Thieves, and probably, just things we aren't even aware of yet. As with a lot of articles floating around, I'm gonna lay my cards on the table and say that Microsoft has gotten Playground Games to make Fable. They recently opened up a new studio. It's huge staff-wise, and they have openly said that they are working on an RPG. Now, not only that, but they also have a close relationship with Microsoft since they handle one of their prized possessions, the Forza Horizon series. So yes, I can see this scenario as likely. Everything just kind of makes sense. And I personally think that this is, going to be a full reboot of the series, especially with a new developer on hand. You'll definitely see a colorful world with choices and consequences, but I think it'll have, a different take after, the most recent successes in RPGs like The Witcher 3 and possibly even Horizon Zero Dawn in some capacity. And I also think that this is going to be a ways off, considering it seems like they just started development at the very most a year or so ago. So don't expect this game to come out anytime soon. Maybe 2021, maybe, but we'll see. I just really hope that it doesn't, lose the charm that it had before, and really what makes Fable Fable. And interesting enough, now a few websites like Eurogamer are finding out information that this could definitely be a thing. So it seems very legitimate. And in the end, I would not be surprised if Microsoft just bought Playground Games at all. They seem to be heavily invested in that game studio. Now, as far as Perfect Dark goes, this rumor is very interesting because key people on Microsoft have talked about Perfect Dark and Joanna Dark before. Expanding it, maybe change up a few mechanics, and according to the leak, the Coalition are helping with it. But another studio is doing it. Now, it's hard to say what studio could be helping out, whether it be an internal one like Rare or a studio that we are just completely unaware of. We could have a situation akin to Killer Instinct where, an out-of-left-field studio is tasked with creating it. But who knows? I would love to see Perfect Dark come back. It's got a cool story, sort of akin to like, James Bond in a lot of ways. Has sleazy corporations and has a lot of sci-fi elements. Plus, it's a shooter, and that's a big demographic on the Xbox. I'm just still iffy on who's actually doing it. There is, however, another possibility of why Joanna Dark appears in whatever information this guy has. Now, about a year ago, Microsoft Studios and Iron Galaxy had a poll going on, wondering what characters people would like to see in Killer Instinct. Joanna Dark was on there, and there's a possibility that she could make an appearance in the fighting game at some point. Again, this is just my speculation on the matter, but it's a possibility. As far as Crackdown 3 goes, I'm not surprised by any of the co-op mentions. I'm pretty sure they've mentioned 4-player co-op before, and there's been all kinds of testing going on for it. So we'll see. I'm not surprised. I think it's a thing that will have 4-player campaign co-op. We still haven't gotten an update on the release date for it, but it's definitely coming out. I'll say maybe June. Just enough time to have a beta in and fix whatever needs to be worked in. I would be shocked if it gets delayed through the summer or any further. Now, with regards to the whole Rising Sun thing and Forza on the horizon, that's with regards to Forza Horizon 4 set in Japan, and I'd say that's pretty much a given. There's been a few posts hinting at the game by motion capture actors and just through other sources. Plus, it just seems very likely a place that Horizon would go to, right? And again, another title by Playground Games. Moving on to Age of Empires 4, we did see a reveal trailer for it back at Gamescom last year, and it's definitely a ways off. It was just a reveal trailer for the name, letting people know. Not even any gameplay. So I would say, yeah, at least 2 years, bare minimum. I love RTS games personally, and it's fair to say that this is going to be taking a while to do. Now, with regards to the really high player count game for Xbox's biggest franchise, well, that's obviously a reference to Halo, and some kind of player-unknown Battlegrounds battle type of game mode, maybe? But it doesn't necessarily have to mean like in a future title like Halo 6. There's been rumors about a different Halo game releasing this year and Halo 6 possibly next year, which was also basically hinted at 343 Industries in a recent post at the beginning of January. I'd be curious to see, if it was a new title or a new mode introduced into Halo 5. It's really hard to say based on what little bites of information that we do have. However, I do think that it would be cool, though, to have like a game based on ODSTs or a mode based on ODSTs where you're like dropping down in pods and have like a battle royale type of setup in a city or even on a Halo ring, right? Now, as for the mech game, now this one is really interesting to me. I've covered this going back to about a year or so ago, and Xbox head Phil Spencer did say that he thinks Mechassault will make a comeback. Now, there's a lot of candidates for a supposed mech game. Microsoft owned the Battletech property, which encompasses MechWarrior, Mechassault, and so forth. But they've also got other mech-type games, like Steel Battalion. But when you look at what Microsoft has currently licensed out to other devs, then there's a possibility that we could see MechWarrior 5 possibly coming to the Xbox One. I say this because it's releasing supposedly at the end of 2018, and it's not out of the realm of possibility that we could see a port to the Xbox One. To me, it looks like a pretty good game, and I would love to see it on consoles too. But honestly, I'm really heavily speculating here, and it could mean anything. It could be an entirely new property for all we know. But my bet would be on either MechWarrior 5 or even a Mechassault 1 or 2 remastered in like a bundle. But there's definitely something going on with that universe. There's definitely something going on, because Phil wouldn't reference that game series for nothing. And as far as the other stuff about Crimson Skies, Conquer, and such, the poster talked about that he didn't have any information pointing to those titles in development. However, he did state that there is evidence of something to do with Banjo-Kazooie, with references going back to Banjo 20th Anniversary. Now, even though we already have Banjo-Kazooie in the form of Rare Replay, I could see a scenario with Rare doing a full-on remake of the original Banjo-Kazooie for the 20th anniversary. There's been a resurgence in platforming games over the last year or so, and the timing would just make sense. So what do you guys think of all this supposedly leaked information? Do you think we'll be seeing any of these titles coming in the near future? Also, what games would you like to see Microsoft invest in? Please leave a comment down below. And again, guys, a lot of this information certainly does seem plausible, but we may not see some of these games for some time. Either way, it's just fun to speculate and talk about. As always, guys, thanks for watching, take care, and Invader out.
Éclaireur ennemi en vue. Soldat d'assaut ennemi, restez en alerte.